I'm Darwin Keeley, president of the Trillium Gift of Life Network, and we're here this afternoon for a couple of reasons. First, to support Kristopher and to really express our admiration and strength for this young man from Sarnia. Kristopher is 13 years old. He suffers from liver disease, and he's one of the 1,771 people on the waiting list waiting for an organ to be transplanted. And Chris's reality is as follows. So far this year, 116 people, Ontario residents, have died waiting for an organ to be transplanted. So we're here to support him in a very real way. We're here because he wants to do something about it. He represents hope for those who are on the waiting list, and he wants to do something about raising the awareness about organ and tissue donation. And he's here to launch his cross-Canada tour for that purpose. We're here, Chris, because we want to help you make your dream come true. And we're very pleased, or I'm very pleased to call on Carolyn DeCoco, the MPP from Sarnia Lambton, Chris's home riding, to join in with her personal support.
Thank you. And first of all, thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be able to participate in this important event today. And as the member of Provincial Parliament for Sarnia Lambton, I'm proud to have a constituent like Kristopher, and I'm here to support Kristopher. Kristopher's an amazing young man who's shown a tremendous amount of courage, both in his own personal circumstances and bringing awareness to this important issue. As a representative of the Ontario government, I'm pleased to say that we're fully supportive of Kristopher as he embarks on his cross-country walking tour next month. And I'm pleased that we have here today as well the Minister of Children's Services, Honourable Marie Butriani's here. And I have to say that I also met Marcello a number of years ago in Sarnia when he did his run for transplants. This issue, yesterday I raised it in the House, and we've had an opportunity over the last few days to raise this issue with my colleagues from all of the parties. I've written to all of them about Kristophers Wish, and I've spoken in the House on this issue, and you have the support of my colleagues of all political stripes. And it's been overwhelming and very encouraging. I want you to know, Kristopher, you have the support of all of us here at Queen's Park. So I want to thank the organizers, George and Marcello particularly, for their hard work on this issue. Today is setting up this event in years past and for the hard work that lies ahead. And most of all, thank you, Kristopher. His family is here. Kelly, Sandy, Ashley, and Robert. Thank you for taking the
to call on George Marcello to lend his support. As some of you know, George is a liver recipient. He is the founder and leader of Step-by-Step, a community organization, foundation promoting organ and tissue donation, and he's been intimately involved in the details of the organization of Kristophers Wish. George?
Good afternoon. On behalf of Step-by-Step, it is my pleasure to inspire you about Kristophers Wish. His story. Reaching your 13th birthday is not a milestone for most people, but for Kristopher Knowles and his family, it's a cause for celebration. Kristopher was born in 9 weeks early on April 29, 1990 at St. Joseph's Hospital, London, Ontario. After undergoing several life-saving surgeries, Kristopher developed a yellowish tinge to his skin that was initially attributed to other health complications. When the yellowish hue failed to disappear after several months, tests revealed that Kristopher had Biliary Atresia. Biliary Atresia has no known cause and affects 1 in every 10,000 to 20,000 infants soon after birth. This serious form of liver disease is characterized by the destruction of bile ducts, which carry bile from the liver to the small intestine. The bile builds up in the liver and causes progressive damage to the liver tissue. Unless bile flow can be established, liver function is gradually lost, and children rarely survive beyond 2 years. Just before his first birthday, Kristopher underwent the Kazite procedure, in which doctors made a new drainage system from a piece of his small intestine. The procedure is successful in restoring bile flow for 30 to 50% of patients. For Chris, the procedure saved his life, but his liver had sustained severe and permanent damage due to the late diagnosis of his disease. Immediately after the procedure, he was placed on the transplant waiting list, where his name remains to this day. For the past 13 years, Kristopher has undergone surgery to combat an array of health problems associated with cirrhosis of his liver. At 11 years old, he suffered from severe abdominal bleeding caused by excess fluid in his spleen and had to undergo procedures every 3 weeks to combat internal bleeding. Presently, things have improved, making only 2 visits at the hospital in the past year and a half. Despite these challenges, Kristopher refuses to let anything slow him down. When he's feeling good, he loves to participate in his 2 favorite things, hockey and running. No one knows what Kristopher's future will hold, says Kelly Knowles, Kristopher's father. All we know is that he has the most incredible will to live. How I met Kristopher Knowles. During my walk across Canada, I entered the city of Sarnia on July 23, 2000. It was day 34 of our campaign. We had a wonderful event, great reception, and a very beautiful community. Among the many people we met, there was a young boy that caught my heart. Kristopher Knowles introduced himself to me and explained that he was on the waiting list for a liver transplant. He was 10 years old at the time. After our visit in Sarnia, we continued to make stops in nearly 500 communities. I met thousands of people along the way that had left valuable memories for me. Some of these people have had transplants, and happy stories have followed. Some have been waiting for transplants and have passed away. It sometimes left me emotionally drained that these people could not receive the precious organs that would save their lives. As I was completing my trek across Canada, I was making my way back to my final stop in Toronto. On day 749, July the 8th, 2002, we once again stopped in Sarnia. To my delight, I once again met Kristopher Knowles. He had a great big smile on his face, and he was anxious to carry the torch of life across Sarnia, and who I may add, MPP Caroline DeCoco also participated in the walk. There was every indication to think that Chris had received his liver transplant with his bright mood. Unfortunately, he didn't. Sometimes I can't figure out why some people have to suffer so much in life with afflictions not of their own making. When I think of Kristopher, there's 2 things I feel: inspiration and courage. During our stop in Sarnia, I stayed at the Knowles family residence and got to know a very loving family. After I completed the walk, Chris and his family and myself participated in many more events. I stayed in contact with Chris by email. Chris was sending me letters sharing his thoughts of his wish to walk across Canada. He wanted me to be his road manager and walk for step by step. I was completely overwhelmed by his desire and enthusiasm to attempt a grueling task. I was also touched by this amazing young boy, and at the same time torn whether I can handle such a responsibility. His family, Dad Kelly, Mom Sandra, Brother Robert, and Sister Ashley, was aware of his dream, and they were 100% behind the idea. Many scenarios were rushing through my head as I was thinking about this. My biggest concern was Chris's safety. After much soul searching, my answer came to me after hearing that he came in second in a 1,500 meter race at school. I agreed to be his road manager, thus Kristophers Wish was born. Our road team will include a film crew to document this amazing story. Chris's dad, Kelly Knowles, and assistant road manager, William Adey. Chris will begin his first step in his hometown, Sarnia, January 8th, 2004, and ending on December 25th, 2004. We are organizing our activities in 200 cities and towns throughout Canada in conjunction with school boards and schools right across the country. In Ontario alone, we are working with 31 school boards, and hundreds of schools, as I'm speaking, are joining in. 76 communities will be greeting Chris and walk with him to local press conferences. I'm also organizing the campaign to make sure that all police forces, hospitals, and airports are aware of Chris's presence each hour of the day and in each and every community as we move along our schedule. Treasured volunteers Joseph Milzarski and Winston Bromley have built a wonderful website to monitor every activity on our entire schedule. They will display an exciting presentation in committee room number 2 following this press conference. Today we have the Torch of Life with me, which you see behind us. The torch has many miles and many memories behind it. Chris will carry the famous torch in each community and pass it to the youth of our nation. Relentlessly, all of our treasured volunteers and supporters will make sure that Chris has the best care. Kristophers Wish is to help save all the men, women, and children on the waiting list. Is this possible? There are almost 4,000 individuals on this list in Canada. Under Chris's courage, inspiration, and determination, we believe. We know we have to roll up our sleeves and strive as hard as we can. Under Chris's courage, we need to explore every possibility and strive to lead when it comes to organ donations. And want it as bad as the Leafs want to win the Stanley Cup. Good old Canadian spirit. We can do it. 4,000 Canadians is worth it, is it not? I would like to thank MPP Caroline DeCoco and her executive assistant, Matt Guerin, for working very hard organizing this press conference. I would also like to thank Darwin Keeley, who we're proud to say that we're partnering up in this campaign throughout Ontario. Also, other treasured volunteers include our special events coordinator, Frank Furman, ex-TICAT Angelo Moscow, ex-Argo Bruce Smith, our directors Mel Davis, Joe Malika, the Karachiganis family, our administrator from BC, Lane Berry, and also our platinum sponsors, Danita and Lenny Lombardi, and all the family from Chin, and all the good folks from Sarnia, Ontario. Remember, almost 4,000 Canadians. Let's all make Kristophers Wish a reality. Thank you.
And now I call on Kristopher, our inspiration, to share his dream.
Hi, my name is Kristopher Knowles. I am 13 years old. I am waiting for a liver transplant. I've been waiting my whole life. My wish is to save 4,000 men, women, and children that are also on the waiting list for organ transplants. A need for organ is great, and the walk that I'm about to take will hopefully inspire everyone to be an organ donor. Thanks. Scars have been with me my whole life. They cover my entire torso. Train tracks passing here and there. Large blue veins branching off into small rivers. I have an unusual belly button that resembles a crater on the moon. People are sometimes frightened when they see my scars, but I don't worry. They don't feel as if they exist. I know that they are there. My scars tell a story about me and my life, and they'll be with me forever. Please support me in my campaign, and remember, don't take your organs to heaven. Heaven knows we need them here on earth. Thank you for attending our press conference.
Does anyone have any questions for Kristopher?
It's a big sacrifice. Why do you want to do this?
Well, I want to do this to save 4,000 men and women on the waiting list so they can get organs like me instead of everybody dying and not giving their organs away.
Do you realize the challenge?
Yes.
Could you do it without someone who's gone through this before?
Well, not really, but it's great to get help.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon.
And I want to say, just before you go, I just saw this photo, I guess, Joseph?
Yes.
It's a beautiful work of art, and I just happened to notice it, and I wanted to make comment on it. And thank Kim Crater for coming down. He's the member from Niagara Falls, so thanks.